May is Stroke Awareness Month, and we want to remind you of the Be Fast acronym people can use if they suspect a stroke. It's right here. B is for balance, a sudden loss of balance or coordination. E is for eyes, blurred or double or even loss of vision. F is for face drooping. A is for arm weakness. S is for speech difficulty. T is for time to call 911. UT Health Houston is using the acronym RAPIDO to help the Hispanic community with stroke signs and symptoms. During the 7 o'clock hour, Haley Hernandez spoke to a doctor about identifying strokes. She's joining us now with a special guest to continue this very important conversation. Haley.
Yeah, so Zach, joining me this morning is Tony Alexander. And Tony, you are a stroke survivor yourself. So let's start with how did you know you were having a stroke? What happened to you that day?
Well, initially, waking up in the morning, getting dressed for church, and initially I reached down to pick something up from off the floor, and when I raised up, I started seeing double. And so didn't tell my wife what was going on.
Yeah, because you think it's going to resolve.
Think it was going to resolve. So but then I sat down and I told her, I said, well, look, I'm going to let you drive us to church because I'm seeing double. And immediately she's saying, well, I think we need to go to the emergency room. Me being stubborn, said, no, I think we're going to still go to church. We went to church anyway. And as we at church, while we at church, things didn't get any better. And so I said to her, I said, I think we might need to go to the emergency room. And so we decided, okay, we're going to leave church, go home, change clothes because the process of
those ER wait times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so as we were
things together.
Yeah. And so as we were driving to the emergency room, a pain came down over me like I had never felt before in my head, and literally I couldn't drive sitting straight up, and I had to hold my hands up. But when we get there, she goes in, tells them what was going on, and so immediately they took me through to the back, which doesn't normally happen. And so we go in. And when they do all the CAT scans and x-rays, they come back, tell my mother and my wife that I had 3 strokes.
3 strokes?
Yes.
Yeah, so you had, the vision was your issue.
The vision was my issue.
But you didn't typically have all of the risk factors that would make you,
exactly.
Concerned for a stroke.
Because if I would have, I think we would have gone straight to the hospital.
Your risk factors were that you had an autoimmune, you have an autoimmune disease?
I have an autoimmune disease, yes, which is CREST syndrome.
Did you know that? Did you know to be looking for stroke signs?
No, actually, I did not. Because it was never nothing that was, because I read up on my disease, so, and never in there did it even talk about strokes. So I never did, even crossed my mind, either my wife. So when the doctor come back to say that I had a stroke, it was shocking.
And not just 1, but 3.
Yes.
So how did you come out on the other end? Okay.
Well, the doctor, the neurologist who was there, did what he had to do, but then he referred me to Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif has been a tremendous help, even to the point where she started the STEP program, and she's been every step of the way with me. The relationship is beyond just patient and doctor. And so it makes it even better that I can call on, my wife can call on her whenever she needs to.
Yeah.
But Dr. Sharif has instituted this program because many times it's after you leave the hospital and go home that nobody really thinks about the things after that.
That's what I said during the 7 a.m. hour. During a lot of health scares, in your case, it was a very traumatic event, and then you're supposed to go back home and just act like everything's okay, and it can be very traumatizing on you. And I see Dr. Sharif and your wife smiling and nodding off to the side. So everything you're saying, they are confirming is true. Tell me more about the STEP program. What did it do for you?
Well,
what was your actual involvement with that?
During COVID, actually we had to do Zoom, and Dr. Sharif initially was having different things where we would all get together on Zoom and put our input in, share our input. And my wife had a real great input for us, things that she felt that were lacking with people who had strokes. And one of the things was the people who have to take care of the caregivers.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous responsibility for a person taking care of a person who can't remember everything, who thinks he knows everything when he really doesn't know everything. And
Preach to the men out there. Other people can relate to that, I'm sure. But yeah, your wife is trying to be a caregiver for you, not just because she loves you, but because you don't always remember to do those every little details of your treatment plan. Yeah. So and you drove in all the way from Beaumont today. I have to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But your doctors are here in Houston now?
Most of my doctors are. I have my family doctor in Beaumont, and I do have two doctors in Beaumont that I use, but mainly my doctor's here. And my D doctor is Dr. Sharif.
Yeah. So what's your long-term plan then? How are you going to prevent another stroke from happening?
Actually, eating healthy, watching my blood pressure, making sure I take my medicine like I'm supposed to, and drinking plenty of water.
Yeah. Well,
because one of the things is dehydration. People don't realize not drinking enough water can also bring about you suffering strokes as well.
And you know, in the community, you're one of my favorite people because you're the UPS. You're the UPS guy. When we see you come in, we are so thankful. So I know with that job, there's a lot of stress. There could be a lot of dehydration during the summertime. So thank you for taking care of yourself, and thank you for sharing this story with me today. I know you had a long drive in this morning, so we appreciate you so much for being here. And you can watch my interview with Dr. Sharif over on click2houston.com. Thank you so much for joining me, Tony.
Thank you.